Now, top story at this hour, U.S. President Donald Trump has branded Iran's terms for ending the war totally unacceptable, raising the likelihood of renewed conflict after weeks of negotiations. Iran says its response was a rejection of the U.S. proposal. Iran had sent its response via Pakistani mediators. Well, soon after Trump's comments, Iran and media released the details of the proposal. Now, Iran seeks to end the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon. It also wants U.S. to pay war damages and recognize Iran's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran also has demanded end of American sanctions and the release of Iran's blocked assets by the U.S. According to the semi-official Tasnim news agency, the response also calls on the U.S. to end its naval blockade, guarantee no further attacks, and end a U.S. ban on Iranian oil sales. Now, Trump himself provided no details on Tehran's counter-proposal, but in a brief post on his Truth Social platform, he made it clear that he was rejecting it. And Trump said, and I'm quoting here, "I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. Totally unacceptable." Now, the American proposal had reportedly focused on extending the truce in the Gulf to allow for talks on a final settlement of the conflict and on Iran's contested nuclear program. Iranian state television reports that Tehran rejected the proposal as amounting to surrender. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said on Sunday, and he wrote on X, saying that Iran will never bow down to the enemy, and if there is talk of dialogue or negotiation, it does not mean surrender or retreat. Now, the back and forth came as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insisted the conflict was not over until Iran's enriched uranium was removed and its nuclear facilities dismantled. Now, the Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the matter, say that Iran has laid out its own demands to U.S. and proposed to have some of its highly enriched uranium diluted and the rest transferred to a third country. Iran has reportedly also sought guarantees that the transferred uranium will be returned if negotiations fail or Washington quits the agreement later. Now, Trump made no mention of such details in rejecting Iran's response. A senior U.S. administration official said that Trump is expected to press President Xi Jinping of China, who is a major buyer of Iranian oil, on Iran while he visits Beijing this coming week. Iran imposed a blockade on the vital Strait of Hormuz early in the war, sending global oil prices soaring and rattling financial markets. The U.S. Navy, meanwhile, is blockading Iran's ports, at times disabling or diverting ships heading to and from them.